It's no secret that our world is in the midst of a mental health crisis. We're seeing more and more the tremendous suffering caused by mental illness, as well as the ripple effect that it has on families, marriages, and communities. At the same time, we find ourselves up against the same barriers time and again that stand in the way of people receiving the care that they desperately need. Not enough providers, not enough training, too expensive, too complicated, too much stigma to overcome. We're facing this crisis within the church as well. As the body of Christ, we want to be a place of refuge and healing, but let's face it, that's often not the case when it comes to mental health. Instead, the church is often under-equipped, under-resourced, and sometimes just off the mark when it comes to responding to mental health needs like anxiety, depression, addiction, and relational breakdown. As a result, hurting people are increasingly staying away from church and looking elsewhere for help. We can't share the hope and the power of the gospel that is so desperately needed if we can't first show ourselves to be effective and compassionate in the area of mental health. From rising rates of anxiety and depression, to the lingering effects of trauma, to a swell of marriages and families in peril, mental health across our region has reached a critical point. In Boston alone, roughly a quarter of all adults have reported experiencing persistent anxiety or sadness within the past year. For high schoolers in the city, that number jumps to over 40%. We have seen more urgent requests from marriages on the brink of collapse than at any time before. Despite this, the array of barriers that get in the way of receiving care remain unmoved for far too many. 20% of adults in Boston right now claim to need mental health support but have not received it. 10% say that they have not received it because the cost of care is far beyond what they're able to afford. At Harbor, we believe that everyone should have access to the very best integrative Christian counseling around, regardless of their means. Mental health care is a staple, not a luxury. So we do everything possible to ensure that economic need never gets in the way of providing for mental health needs. We also believe that the church should have a more compassionate and effective response to mental health issues within its own context. When churches are trained and equipped and have viable partnerships with clinical providers, amazing things can happen in the lives of people who are longing for such holistic and integrated care. Harbor seeks out these partnerships and offers expert-level training, practical resources, educational content, personal support, and consultation for ministry leaders. To make all this work possible, we created Harbor Christian Partnership, a nonprofit that helps to fund our scholarship program for financial accessibility and our church resourcing program to come alongside local churches, both in our region and across the globe. We would love to invite you to partner with us in being a solution to the crisis of mental health in our region. Quite honestly, to tackle this growing problem, we need as much help as we can get. One way to do this is by becoming a monthly donor. As a partner, you will become an integral part of helping us reach more people who otherwise would never receive care, and more churches who are searching for answers on how to better address mental health issues. If you have benefited from counseling yourself, consider matching what you spend for a counseling session and offering that as a gift for someone who otherwise can't afford it. Partner with us today to make a lasting difference in someone's life.